Go, so I'll start it with a mountain shine. To see everybody. It's great to see some wonderful looking facial hair. Fortunately, only on the gentlemen. Ladies look pristine. So we are just delighted to welcome everybody today. How many Zoom meetings is this? Linda, is this our third or fourth? So, glad everybody could join. We've got a great program today, an excellent speaker, some special guests. And so want to move right into it. And we'll turn it over to Charles for the invocation and the pledge.
Thank you, Jim. So the invocation for today begins with, our world is turned upside down, but we must never let go of the beauty of the world's complexities. We pray for those who are ill or are suffering, and especially those making the weak strong, the sick healthy, and the broken whole. We will surround those who have been shaken by tragedy with love and support. As Rotarians, we help to rebuild lives, and we commend ourselves to the belief that we will survive. We will grow stronger by working together. We will grow stronger by supporting each other. Keep the awestruck vision of the world ready at hand while dealing with the demands of daily living. It is definitely worth the effort. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. And we welcome our guest from Switzerland, Elise. Excellent. Jim, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Charles. That's a terrific invocation for today. And to follow up on that invocation, I'm going to ask our ringmaster, Valerie, or Linda, whichever one of you's got the control on this, to play a very special greeting from our own Bill Simpson, who's joining us today by video.
Okay, it didn't work the way it was supposed to.
Very good.
I can see Bill, but I can't hear him.
I hear him on mine. Let me see. I need to share computer audio. Share computer.
Of 1951, when we lived in New York, I was in graduate school at Columbia. Just a weekend came, and we went to the Riverside Church. A lot of people up there used to call it Riverside Baptist Church, others call it Riverside Presbyterian Church, Methodist Church, such as that. Whatever denomination, they always put that denomination with Riverside. It was an independent type church. At the Easter service that morning at Riverside, we heard a magnificent choir. We had a great sermon from Dr. Robert McCracken, who was a Scottish background. And then afterwards, we went, had a little lunch, and then went down to Fifth Avenue for the afternoon Easter parade. It was something to see and to tell you about. We wandered up Fifth Avenue, particularly along the area where the big stores are, and Rockefeller Center. And it was something to see all of these people from many lands dressed in native costume in many respects. That it was just, everybody was just relaxed and enjoying themselves at the Easter parade. And of course, they were almost elbow to elbow at times. There were so many people down the streets. we enjoyed that so very much. Then we left, got on the bus and came back out to our apartment, which was on the west side, and, and we continued to enjoy the day by first of all getting the Sunday edition of the New York Times, which would keep you 3 days to read to finish, and also that night we listened to Ed Sullivan on the radio. They had no television, which we didn't. Ed Sullivan that night, and then we had a program afterwards. Tallulah Bankhead, a great actress, had an hour each Sunday night. And she ended up with a theme song, which was, "May the good Lord bless and keep you, though we're far away today. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again." And that's the way I wanted to express to you all today. We have missed seeing you, and we look forward to getting back. And although we enjoyed that Easter on Fifth Avenue in New York City, I think the most memorable one that we will have will be when we get back again to our church next Easter.
Well, that was a wonderful greeting from Bill Simpson, and he is so sharp, and it was great to see him in good health, sitting in his beautiful lawn with the birds chirping and the azaleas blooming and sharing with us a happy Easter message. And we greatly look forward to seeing him again on one of our Zoom meetings, and especially in person when we're able to get back together. Let me now ask Elise Dorsett, our Rotarian in Zurich, Switzerland, to tell us a little bit about what's going on in Zurich and in Switzerland, and how things are with the COVID and the crisis there, and how she and Marco are coping.
Hi, everyone. I was so happy to be invited and to reconnect with all of you. We do similar meetings here in Zurich. I've become active in Toastmasters here in particular, and I know that Rotary and Toastmasters are creating an interesting connection. So I've loved that and have loved our Toastmasters meetings. Actually, I'm giving a speech tomorrow on a platform just like this, or Wednesday at Toastmasters. Everything here is similar probably to the quarantine situation in the US. We've been quarantined for about a month, and luckily we have green trails and beautiful forest right up the hill from us. So we've been taking full advantage of that. We can go outside, we can walk around, but stores are not open. And so people get their exercise, but other than that, we stay home. And my husband's family, as many of you know, are in Italy. So they're in northern Italy, right in the heart of the crisis, really. And they've been quarantined for about 2 months now, and they cannot go outside for any reason other than to the grocery store, to the pharmacy. So luckily, all of Marco's family is well. And in fact, his uncle is coordinating volunteers for the local Red Cross, and he coordinates all of the ambulance runs and taking people in, and they have tents set up in fields to host all the patients they have there. So it's a very difficult situation, but his family has been involved in the healing process, so to speak, as much as they can be, and they've kept themselves safe, luckily. And other than that, we're feeling very grateful to be together here and healthy, and to know how to cook.
That's great.
Gotten very high.
Thank you, Elise, for that report from Switzerland, and also reporting on our relations in Italy. Mm-hmm. We were so fortunate and blessed that Elise came for her college roommate's wedding just before everything went bad with the virus. And so he had a wonderful, almost 2-week visit with her, although she wasn't able to go to the wedding, which was in Miami, and had a very difficult time getting back to Switzerland, but everything worked out well. So with that, let's turn to the cart bucket, and I think we'll combine the cart bucket with the happy dollars. So I'm so happy that Elise is safe in Zurich and joined for this meeting. Linda, please put me down for $100 for happy dollars and cart bucket. And I know you'll add that to my bill, so I don't have to take care of that at the moment. But others for happy dollars.
I can go, Jim. It's Gina.
Great,
Perfect.
Gina.
Linda, you can put me down for $5. This past week, I was able to speak at a national conference, but remotely. I was supposed to speak in March at this conference in Colorado. However, that got canceled and they did it virtually. So I had about over 300 people, I think, attend my session, which was a great yield for me in terms of getting my name out there and recognition. So I guess that's my happy dollars for this week. Thanks so much.
That's awesome. Fantastic. All right. Anyone else? Okay, great. Yeah, everyone who's got a spare dollar or so for the cart, let Linda know, and she'll take care. I'm getting a couple of messages about the video crashed for a couple people. I guess our ringmaster's taking a look at that right now. We'll keep going and hope that everything gets back together. I can still see most everyone. I see Dave Permar there. Hi, Dave. Glad you could join us today. All right. So next week, Philip Cave is going to be our speaker. Philip, and I see some more money coming in for the cart also. Thanks to everybody who's doing that. Our speaker is going to be Philip Cave. Philip was with Wells Fargo Securities, and he was offered the position of CEO of a startup company called Pharmazam, which uses genomics to tailor-make medications for patients. And they're also working on the COVID situation. So that's going to be a very interesting and timely talk next week. And now I'd like to turn things over to Eric Larson for a special award or presentation.
Yes, really excited to have two announcements today, and it really covers both sides of what our local club foundation does. First of all, I want to recognize Tom Packer as the newest member of the Lester Woodall Society. And just as a reminder, that is a recognition of someone who gives $500 or more to our club foundation. That foundation, prior to the stock market adjusting itself, was about $500,000, and it's quickly getting back to that point. And we appreciate Tom for his contributions to the Rotary Club of Raleigh Foundation. Linda will be mailing him a pin backer that goes behind his Rotary pin and indicates that he is a member of that. So Tom, congratulations and thank you. And I don't know if Tom...
Thank you, Eric.
Okay, there you go. Great. The other side of this that we don't talk about as often because we try to be good stewards of the money that is brought in, and that's the good work that the Rotary Club of Raleigh Foundation does. And so the board of directors of our club, who also is the board of directors of the Rotary Club of Raleigh Foundation, has voted to make 4 contributions in light of what's going on right now in our community and around the world. We see hungry people, we see ill people, we see hurting people, and we see hurting families. And so what we have done is we've made a $1,000 contribution from the Rotary Club of Raleigh Foundation that all of you support and represents you to the following groups. For hungry people, we've made it a gift to the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina. For ill people, people needing medical assistance, to UNC Rex system and their fund that they have there to help people. For hurting people, we have made a contribution to the Salvation Army, again, a $1,000 contribution to the Salvation Army. They are a great, great partner for literally decades with this club, and Major Al, the latest representative of that. And then finally, for hurting families, we've made a $1,000 contribution to the Dementia Alliance of North Carolina. And the Dementia Alliance covers Alzheimer's and many other kinds of dementia challenges. And they help with education, they help with respite, and they help with education. And their focus is almost entirely on the families and the people suffering with Alzheimer's. They do fund some research, but the main thing is helping individuals and families in North Carolina. So thank you to all of you who have given to the Rotary Club of Raleigh Foundation. And in those 4 agencies, those 4 groups, we're trying to make a big impact during this very trying time for the hungry people, the ill people, the hurting people, and the hurting families. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Jim.
Eric, thank you so much. And that's a fantastic report. I think we can all feel really great, really proud about the work that our foundation is doing and that our club is doing to support those on the front lines of dealing with the COVID crisis and the people who are hurting as a result. So we're helping to feed those who need help. And also a lot of individuals are giving to the food bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina and the food shuttle. And we're supporting the Salvation Army, of course, and UNC Rex and the Dementia Alliance. And we're also continuing to support the great work that Wake Smiles is doing, helping the poor with their dental needs so they can hopefully get employment when we come out of this crisis. And just thank you so much to everybody for your great support. I do want to say to Tom Packer, no fair to post such a great looking photo with a suit and tie and clean shaven when a lot of us here are kind of scruffy at the moment, but it's okay since it's a Lester Woodall Society induction. So we really appreciate it, Tom Packer, your support and your contribution to the Lester Woodall Society and our foundation and Rotary International, all your support there as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Christy for a report on membership.
Hey everyone, I just want to give you all a reminder that we have our first virtual social this coming Thursday, the 23rd. So it'll be at 5:30 p.m. as usual. Linda sent out the invitation this weekend, so if you didn't receive that for some reason, let us know. We'll send you the link, but there will be a Zoom link just like the links to these meetings on Mondays have been. You can just follow that at 5:30 and bring your beverage of choice, and we can all just socialize and catch up. And it'll be a great way to reconnect and get to see some human faces. So everyone that can come, remember Thursday, 5:30. And one new item that we have, we are going to form a care and concern subcommittee. It's something that a lot of other clubs have done, and especially during this time, you know, it's a lot of stress, and we have a lot of members that don't have the connectivity to join our Monday Zoom meetings, whether it's, you know, the smartphones or laptops and, you know, the internet bandwidth they need. So we are going to reach out to them the old-fashioned way. We're going to make a subcommittee as part of the membership committee called the Care and Concern Subcommittee. And members will be having kind of a phone tree. We have all the contact information for our members, and we'll be reaching out to anyone that, you know, is not able to really interact with us and attend these Monday virtual meetings. So if anybody that is interested in doing that, please let me know. You can shoot me a message in this little Zoom chat or shoot me an email. I think it's a really great opportunity if you feel like you haven't been involved enough lately, or you really want to just contribute, especially during this pandemic time, just to keeping everybody feeling safe and happy and feeling like they're still a part of Rotary, even if they can't see us every Monday. So please let me know. It'd be a great thing for you guys just to do from home, some calls, maybe emails. So that is it for me. But again, I'll put my email in the chat as always, or else you can just respond in the chat if you're interested. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Christy. And so one of the things we're trying to do during this time that we're all in sort of lockdown and sheltering in place is continue to keep on our thinking caps about membership. So give a little thought to whom you know that would be a great addition to our membership, who would enjoy our camaraderie and fellowship and the learning that we gain through our speakers, and would also enjoy our service mission. And give those names to me or Christy, Linda, and we want to continue to build a nominations list that we can really act on once we're back to meeting live, and invite people to join our Zoom meetings also, especially if there's a speaker that you know they would enjoy. All right, Mark's got an update for us on the Southeast Raleigh Club.
Hello, fellow Rotarians. Just real quick, the Southeast Raleigh Club continues to do very well. Linda and I attended last week's virtual meeting, and they did a couple of things. First, they've begun, similar to what we did a year or two ago, having a member at each of their sessions, kind of giving a review of who they are. So last week was Van Sapp, who happens to be Valerie's boss. And we found out he has a very extensive background. I think he says most people knew him from his time, Valerie correct me, I think it was at Coke. But he's had several jobs. He was CEO of one of the divisions of one of those companies. So
it was Pepsi, and considering that rivalry, I feel like I need to make that correction.
Yes. Who was that?
Dean Sapp was with Pepsi.
Pepsi, thank you. Yeah, a little off there. But he's currently working on his PhD, and of course he's a professor over at St. Aud. So besides that, they had a very good speaker last week, a local realtor station or out of Southeast Raleigh, who just gave a kind of inspirational speech on things that are going on right now. Talk some about real estate market, but mostly kind of inspirational speech. So Southeast Raleigh Club continues to do well. They meet every Tuesday at 6:30, and if anyone wants to attend, just let them know. They have a Facebook page, or let me or Linda, Valerie, or Eric know. We'll get you in. Thanks, Jeff.
Great, thank you, Mark. Thanks so much. Yeah, we're so proud that we've helped get this new club up and running, and Mark and Eric have been fantastic liaisons to the new club, and Charles Edwards has helped them with their bylaws. Tom Packer's been in touch with Van Sapp, their treasurer, and so we're giving them a lot of assistance. We're going to be giving them a nice bell, and they really are up and running, and they're anxious to engage in a joint service project with us once we're back to gathering in force in person. So that's something we're really looking forward to. Let me ask Gina to give us a service update.
Well, hello, Rotarians. Hello, hello, hello. We've made progress in terms of our virtual food drive. So our virtual food drive for Eastern and Central North Carolina is still currently going on. We have raised $445. So it did go up from last week. So that is awesome. Please reach out to me if you want to make your donation. I'm about to actually make a donation myself, because what I've decided to do is create myself a grocery budget and hopefully go under budget. And whatever I do to go under budget, whatever that money is, I'm going to donate to the food drive. So it's a way that I'm trying to think about how I utilize my money. So if I can save money and give kind of what's left from my food budget off to a great cause, that would be very helpful. So I also really want to thank Eric Larson, the foundation, and the board for their generous donations. That was a very exciting announcement from Eric Larson a couple of speakers ago, but one of those donations was to this food bank. So thank you so much for that. Next slide, Valerie. Okay, so April, we had a lot of dates kind of set out to do in-person service. One of them was on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I think I was the only Rotarian that went. There was about 25 people in total that was there kind of practicing social distancing. But we were given an 18-wheeler filled with McDonald's hamburger buns. So that had over 28 pallets of buns. And in terms of size, that was 15,700 pounds of bread. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff. Those buns will be used for over 13,000 worth of meals. So those are big numbers. I got a great workout in on Wednesday, and it was really, really fun. So there was another kind of service project that was set for April 25th. However, the food bank actually emailed me yesterday to cancel it. I guess with the extended order in place from the state of North Carolina until the end of April. You're not allowed to have groups of larger than 50 people. So what they're doing is they're suggesting to go to one of their weeknight session. So I'm going to be looking for alternative dates to Saturday, April 25th, and I will let you know the next meeting on when maybe you can come and see me and help me at the food bank. So that's kind of my update there. The next one, of course, is our support for UNC Rex Hospital. You know, as of right now, our caregivers, right, our nurses, our doctors, and those everybody who's loving, they need our support. They really need our support. They're tired. They don't have enough supplies. I know that my company actually just sent food to UNC to hopefully support them for one of their breakfasts coming up this week. But they also, if you go to their website, they have a list of supplies. They're also asking for donations of blood, something that I did 2 weeks ago. That's something that I encourage everybody here to do, as well as they have a fund going on, which is tax deductible and a write-off. So those are different ways to support UNC Rex Hospital. I think that's it for me.
Gina, thanks for that. That's fantastic. And I was seeing some statistics about the number of North Carolinians that are hungry, that are food insecure. It was a significant number before the crisis, but it's really a huge number now. So to the extent that people are able to give to support the food bank, that's a fantastic thing to do at this time when we can't get out and do our usual hands-on sort of projects. So thank you so much for everything that everyone is doing in that regard. Few additional announcements. Ned Ligon, who's on the call, I believe had a birthday on the 14th. Cindy Roberts on the 15th. Jim Graham on the 16th. And Chancellor Randy Woodson on the 20th. And then we have some anniversaries as well. Nicolette and Mike Fulton on the 14th, and Lee and Cynthia Hammond on the 20th. So congratulations to each of them, each of you on those anniversary dates and special birthdays. And now I'll turn the program over to Mike Toddy, who has an exciting program prepared for us today.
Well, I don't know how exciting I'll be, but I'm sure Tim will be exciting. Our speaker today is Tim Murray of Aware Senior Care of Cary. Tim was born in Huntington, New York on Long Island. He graduated from Villanova University with a BS in electrical engineering in 1981 and was commissioned as an ensign in the United States Submarine Force. He served on board the USS Groton, a Los Angeles class nuclear-powered fast attack sub, and was also a master training specialist in the Submarine Officers Advanced Course. Tim joined IBM in 1987 as an SE and went on to join and lead several software startups in Cary and Raleigh. In 2014, Tim and his wife Gina co-founded Aware Senior Care, which provides home care and nursing services to the disabled, chronically ill, and seniors serving Wake County. Tim's vision for an in-home care organization stems from the struggles following his own father's stroke, and time in a nursing facility. That experience led Tim to ensure his mother could stay in her home despite difficulties with memory loss and household maintenance. Tim's intimate understanding of the stresses of a loved one's need for independence makes him uniquely qualified to recruit only the best caregivers and manage the day-to-day operations at Aware Senior Care. Tim is currently a board member of the Dementia Alliance of North Carolina and a member and president nominee of the Carrie Kildare Rotary Club. So please join me in extending a warm Rotary Club of Raleigh welcome to our speaker today, Mr. Tim Murray.
Hey. How's everybody doing?
I
Great.
just made you co-host, Tim, so you should be able to share your screen.
Stop share for a minute. There it is. Forgive me for a minute. I'm playing around here with this awesome system. Okay, hopefully all of you are seeing that little hand-in-hand screen there, hopefully. Yes? Outstanding. Well, thank you so much. I wish I could be there at the club, and I know everybody wishes they could be together with family and friends, so it's an unprecedented time. But it's a privilege here to be speaking to one of the oldest and prestigious Rotary clubs in Raleigh, and from all of us at Carrie Kildare, God bless you. And I love some of the things you're doing. A little partial to Dementia Alliance, of course, but Food Bank is near and dear to my heart. I remember volunteering time there, loading pallets to churches, and just a great organization. So kudos to you guys. So I'm going to talk a little bit about elder care with you all, and I'm going to try to get through this in 10 minutes, so there's plenty of time. But I usually kind of start with a quote, and we're not all there together, but just to kind of see who would guess. I don't know if anybody wants to put in chat, but alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. Anybody have an idea who said that? And you could put it in good old chat if you actually have an idea. But just moving it forward, it's Helen Keller. It is such a powerful statement. And I think one of the things I've learned in 5 years of the privilege to serve this community and working with just a great group at Aware, but community partners, is elder care is a team sport. And if one of your takeaways from this is, gosh, I didn't realize there's these resources out there that can help my dad, my mom, help me, a friend, then we've accomplished something today. So I want to give you a little bit of background. Thank you for that intro. I drove submarines for a while. It was pretty cool. And it was during the Cold War, and we were having some fun with the Russians. It was a great way to start, but instilled so many good virtues of the military that have stayed with me today, and it comes down to people. Your biggest asset is the people that you're working with and working for and taking care of them. So I think it set me up for the future. We're not together, so I guess I got you on the little gallery view, but how many of you know what an aging life care professional? Raise your hands here on camera. I could probably okay, got a couple. Anybody know what a senior move manager is? Got a couple. A senior advisor or placement professional. Thank you, Elsa. Charles. One that probably you know real well is an estate planning or elder law attorney. Typically, a lot of us have worked with there. And some have heard the term certified nursing assistant, CNA, with the backbone really of what we do in home care. We're going to talk a little bit about these resources. But what comes down to when Gina and I talk about elder care, and you're kind of probably thinking, how does an electrical engineer and computer science guy get into home care? Well, the answer is my wife, the driving force and spirit of Aware Senior Care, and our parents, our experience with our parents, and she felt things could be done better, and she had 27 years of geriatric care. So we decided to start Aware Senior Care. But in talking to people about, do I stay at home? Do I move? It really comes down to, how do you want to spend your time? And where do you want to live? And you think about a lot of us now, it's amazing. I just love being a grandparent. Gina and I love it. And a big part of our decision would be to be near our grandchildren if we can. And I know a lot of us up there in age is probably the same. And once you kind of go through that process, then it's what resources are available to me to build my team. And you may say, what do you mean by team? That's a great question. We'll talk about that a little bit. So this is one of my little favorite pictures. That's my wife, Gina, and my grandson, Vincent. And we're at Bond Brothers, which I severely miss going to every now and then, I'll have to admit. Vincent is saying Papa and pointing at me across the table. And this brings me energy. And I'm sure those who have grandchildren, it's one of the biggest joys of your life. It is for me and it is for Gina. But in spending your time, your analysis is probably typically, well, I want to be near my family, my friends, my social network, which the Rotary is such a part of, and a great organization. Activities, we're volunteers in the Rotary. Dementia Alliance North Carolina, Food Bank, where do I want to volunteer my time? What brings you joy? And then in the end is avoid that bucket list of I wish I had. Our advice is don't wait. Make the best out of it. Even with COVID-19, there's a silver lining of doing things that maybe you'd bypassed before and get creative. Like my wife and I did for my birthday a couple of weeks ago was we, respecting social distancing, of course, Gina and I are married, but we're on our back deck and Chefs for Seniors, Zach Merritt came into our kitchen, took it over, and made us a special birthday meal. And it was just an awesome experience. And we did that because we couldn't go out, so let's be creative. So that's what I mean. Even during COVID-19, hopefully we can find moments of joy and get creative. And I like the virtual meetings and a virtual social hour. So when it comes down to should I stay or should I go, most of us want to stay at home. And when you're looking forward now, and if your plan is to retire in your home, you probably want to take a hard look at it. How could it sustain me if I had a hip injury, for example, or I became less mobile? And this is where universal design comes into play. Taking a hard look at your house, carpets, your shower. If I had a rollator, could I get around? There's things to consider making your home suitable for you when you get near the end. Or, I'm social and all my friends are kind of going away, moving away, maybe going to community makes sense. So both of those are viable options. So in the end, ask yourself a series of questions. Can I currently manage my care? Are the things I'm just tired of doing, like the lawn, making meals? Ask yourself this series of questions, including transportation. My mom kind of didn't really think about that when she bought a house up in Warrensburg, New York. It was very remote. And then mom suffered a stroke. And then eventually, because of diabetes, lost a leg. And basically the house could not sustain her. And plus transportation during the winter was virtually shut down. So what I'm saying there is think big picture when you're thinking about your plan. Think about transportation. Want to make it easy on yourself. So there's a series of questions you want to ask. I'm not going to go through these. Some of you may have heard the term ADL. I remember my wife early on, when we first started home care in 2014, said, well, how many ADLs are affected? And I said, what is an ADL? I had to get educated to that. It's an activity of daily living. And a lot of us, I'm sure some of you out there have had the vision or the wherewithal to get a long-term care insurance policy. And those kick in when they say one or two, at least two ADLs are affected. So activities of daily living, they're kind of the basics. It's showering, bathing, grooming, eating, and then there's independent activities of daily living, IDLs, where maybe I can't drive anymore or my bill's not being paid. So when people come in to assess, and you can self-assess yourself, we actually on our website have a live well at home care self-assessment, you can score yourself and kind of judge kind of where I am and do I need any help. And on our website, there's we being the engineer I am, we put a survey up there about IADLs and ADLs and scoring it from like 0, like I need no help, to I think we go up to 5 where I need a lot of help. And then we add up the scores, and anything over an aggregate score of 10 probably indicates you need some help and you should talk to a professional. So who are those professionals? I want to kind of go over the remainder here, hopefully to open some eyes to you all about there's amazing resources in our community. And we built this graphic about 4 years ago to talk about building a support team. And there's resources out there, and some of you may be familiar with home health, Transitions Life Care Hospice. There are home organizers, home renovators. There are bill pay specialists. There are financial planners, estate planners, Veterans Administration support, SHIP with Medicaid, the senior centers, the Rotary. Basically there's this amazing support network out there. And there's even people in the middle there where you see care management advocacy. The term of the day lately is aging life care professional, a geriatric care manager. It's like a wingman to hire. And I did this for my mom in New York because I was running software for Crossmatch at the time in Florida. And mom had a number of issues, and I was losing sleep and being unproductive at work, and I hired a geriatric care manager to take the point in New York and help manage mom's life, in essence, and that's an aging life care professional. So when you're building a team, a series of recommendations for you. Typically, we all have a doctor. Start there. I hope you have a great doctor. Look for advice. And when you're thinking about building your plan, document your top goals with your plan. Here are the things important to me. When Gina and I work with a family, and typically it's a family, it's not only the senior, but the kids, we talk about the goals and we make sure everybody's on the same page of what we're trying to achieve. And then from there, if you'd like some help, and you have a number of issues you're trying to tackle, financial, some social issues, a geriatric care manager or an aging life care professional, you can Google that, is somebody that you can hire, contract with, that could manage. It's like that umbrella, almost like the Dementia Alliance in North Carolina is an umbrella over all the forms of dementia. An aging life care professional can help you manage your team. If not, you could manage your team. But at the end, it's about building that team. So kind of to close this up and being conscious of time, Aware Senior Care, we get just as much joy out of referring the family to some of our great people out there, organizations like the Dementia Alliance in North Carolina, than we do ourselves. So some of the things that, if you want to research, I talked about the assessment on our website, and you go to contact us. It's like take the self-care assessment. You or a friend can assess a loved one, and it scores, and it becomes a tool for you. Our blog has a ton of information about various issues with home care. Another great resource is the Resources for Senior Directory. I'm not sure how many of you know about the Resources for Seniors organization, but if you Google Resources for Seniors in Raleigh, they have a directory I call the Bible of home care. Everything you wanted to know about care is in this directory with names, numbers, and contacts. Scott Waterhouse, who's also on the board of Dementia Alliance, is the leader of that directory. It's a great directory. And the other thing is this April, if you go on our blog, you'll see we're running a number of webinars on care during COVID-19. People need care now more than ever in their home. And I'm so proud of, and I call them healthcare heroes, any of our nurses and LPNs and CNAs that are going into homes at this time, potentially putting themselves in harm's way. God bless them. But people need the help, and we're here to help. So final thoughts. I don't know how many of you heard of an organization called Spartan. It's obstacle course racing, and they have various races from 3 miles to 8 miles to 15. Last year, Gina and I and my son Kyle completed what's called the trifecta. We actually did 3 events, and you get to crawl through mud and climb through stuff. And I guess the message there is live life. Live life. Don't have that bucket list. Determine how you want to live it, and then build your team around yourself. And know that out there, you guys, I think Rotarians have a really good sense of the spirit of team, and we can accomplish more together. That's the main message here is don't go it alone. We all need help. Reach out, whether it's your Rotary, your church, these professionals. It's about team, and there's just so many great resources in the community can help. And it's a privilege for Aware Senior Care for us to know, be part of the Rotary and some of the great resources that I mentioned. So with that, that concludes the presentation, and I just wanted to thank you for spending time today virtually with me, and would like to answer any questions that maybe have come up.
Great. Tim, thank you so much. That's just a great talk and really timely. And it was just so clear, and you laid out such useful information for us. Who's got some a question they want to ask Tim while we've got him on the line? Tim.
Chirp, chirp.
Well, I'll just say I'm really glad that my daughter, Elise, is on the line hearing all of this, because she'll be captain of the team, hopefully not for another 20 years or so. But I think I saw a question come across the screen.
Well, I have one. This is Gina.
Hi, Gina.
I am under 40. What would you suggest for somebody who is under 40 to kind of come up with their own planning?
Great question. We have a seminar called Build Your Life Plan. I kind of built it after going through my own experience with my mother in building her trust. Her husband was a World War II veteran, and we put together a trust and so forth. And what I learned from that is it's not too early to build your plan. What I recommend to you, when you're looking at your life, look at it holistically, and know that when you're building your financial plan, I'm sure there's people on this call, I'm not a financial planner, but luckily there are some great ones out there. Include your long-term care in that. Think about at the, near the latter years that something could happen to you. And it's better to address that elephant in the room. And that's what I did a blog on long-term care insurance, and you see this graphic of an elephant. I had to face it. And Gina and I finally did it at age 60, and we did long-term care insurance. So I would think about, financially your plan to look at where do I want to settle, how do I want to live my life and travel and all that, but also look at your elder care, because it can be significant. So I would talk to your financial planner, because a lot of the financial planners today are also working with the long-term care insurance, either that becomes part of their practice, they know somebody. And so you can start looking at your plan and planning for your future. So you've got lots of time, and that's great.
Great advice. Thank you so much.
Tim, do you know of any resources in Italy?
Great question.
I think for your assessment that you spoke of could be really useful for my husband and I to take. His parents are doing great still, but they're in their 70s. So maybe we could use the assessment. And I'm sure there are resources in Italy, but the culture is very different there. So I was wondering if you knew anything about that.
No, I know you're right. Every culture is different. There's a lot of ingrained family first support. And you know what, even here in the United States, we call it the family plan. Gina always goes in when we call it assessments. So say someone calls us, they take the self-assessment and say, hey, I need some help, but I'm not quite sure when and where and what. We do a no-charge assessment. We sit with the senior and the family a lot of times and talk about it and assess the needs. And then we ask questions like, well, who in your family can help? Do you have peoples of the church that can help? Kind of start there. And sometimes we build plans that have family members or friends that are integrated with our caregivers, because the stuff kind of costs a lot, and But you got to be careful. Caregiving, I learned, I have such respect. After going through that experience with my mother, what a caregiver does. I so much admire them. It's a big job. And not with my brothers, I found they just said, I can't do it, Tim. So my three brothers I was kind of the head for my mother's care plan. And I at first was mad that they weren't pulling their weight, but then I realized Gina said, you can't expect your brothers to caregive. It's a unique talent and heart, you know? So, and I backed off and said, okay, I get it, you know, and there are great people out there to help that we talked about. So no, I'm Italy, and I'm looking forward to coming back there. I haven't been there in a long time.
Thank you. Yeah, Marco's brother lives right in the same kind of complex with his family, so it'll be a conversation later to think about.
Yeah, reach out anytime. We love helping people get linked up with the right people or do research on their behalf. Happy to do it.
I'm glad Elise wasn't asking about immediate availability of resources in Raleigh. But Tim, I want to thank you so much for being with us today and sharing this valuable information about caring for seniors and creating a team and thinking ahead and, you know, living things now, not just putting things on a future bucket list, preparing, getting in shape for old age. And we want to present you with the coveted Rotary Club of Raleigh coffee mug.
All right.
We're going to have to do that initially here virtually. So you can just imagine a fantastic mug of coffee with the 4-way test on it that you can use to start your day, get you fired up about helping seniors every day.
Thank you.
And we just really appreciate you being with us and sharing today. Let's have a round of applause, virtual and real, for Tim Murray.
Well, thank you all, and God bless you all for what you're doing. Very proud to be Rotarian, and you're a great group. So thank you very much for having me today.
And Tim, thanks for what you're doing for Rotary also and the Dementia Alliance. I wanted to mention that as well.
Thank you.
So Rotarians, as we always do, we'll close with the 4-way test. Of the things that we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial
to all concerned? Ding.
R-O-T-A-R-Y. That spells Rotary. Very good, Charlie.
All right, Rotarians. We are adjourned. See you next Monday. We'll have another great meeting and another fantastic speaker. In the meantime, thanks for all you're doing to take care of those around you and those in our community. We are adjourned.
Thank you.